Hello and welcome to Home Assistant Podcast. My name is Rohan, and as usual, I'm here with my friend Phil. Hey, Phil.
Hey mate, how you going?
Good. And today we're joined with Braden. Hey, Braden.
Hi.
And as usual, this podcast is sponsored by Home Assistant Cloud by Nabukasa. For a small monthly fee, you'll unlock powerful features like secure, effortless access to your system from anywhere, your choice of voice assistants, offsite backups, and more, all configurable to the UI with no YAML needed. It also supports the development of Home Assistant, ESPHome, and a bunch of other Open Home Foundation projects. Click on the link in the description to learn more.
This episode is sponsored by Apollo Automation, makers of open source smart home sensors built for the Home Assistant ecosystem. They're an official Open Home Foundation commercial partner, and their devices are built with local control, privacy, and reliability in mind. Almost everything they offer works with Home Assistant and made for ESPHome certified, giving you full control and flexibility right out of the box. And the best part? They build in the open, working directly with the community to create sensors that people actually need. If you're deep into Home Assistant or just getting started, definitely check them out at apolloautomation.com. Braden, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. Whereabouts are you coming from today?
Thanks, guys. Good to be here. So I'm from northern Indiana in the United States. And we're going through a bit of a windstorm right now. So if I disappear,
Yeah.
Indiana power. That's how it goes.
I heard it's pretty wild out there right now.
Oh, yeah.
We had some of the effects today where, I mean, I'm sure it's not as bad as you guys have it, but it was still like quite windy. Like my car as we were driving was like shaking and all of that. So
we were sitting in a parking lot today, like waiting for my wife to get done doing something. And the baby usually likes to he'll fall asleep in the car if it's moving, but we didn't have to drive anywhere because the wind was just shaking the car the whole time.
You still get
Save a little gas money.
That's right. So, yeah, especially these days, that's pretty handy. That's funny. Well, hopefully you're all safe out there. But,
oh yeah.
So let's jump into it. I mean, tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously, you said you're from Indiana, and how'd you get into this? How'd you get to home automation?
Oh yeah. So I'd say I kind of came by it naturally, I guess. So I'm the product of a mechanical engineer and a public school teacher. So I graduated double E from college and became a controls guy right out of the gate. And it's kind of funny. You have the split in controls guys. You have the ones that go to the nines in home automation, and then you have the people that are just like, I deal with this every day at work. Why would I want to troubleshoot my house? I'm in the other camp. Yeah, it's just fun stuff to fill your time with. It's kind of a funny hobby, ordering light switches and light bulbs and home appliances. But
yeah. It's true when you put it that way, right? You don't really think of it. It is a hobby, and a part of that involves buying like light bulbs, and you're like, that's weird.
How's the time being able to do this hobby now that you've got that 6-month-old?
Different. It's like nap where projects are shorter. You go for smaller nap windows, and they're all software related. We're not building too much in the garage this time of year, but he's definitely sparked a lot of projects. That's for sure.
Yeah, I want to get into those. So tell us about your journey. Like, how did you? I guess you got an IT background that led you down into Home Assistant. What are you running Home Assistant on?
I am still on an OG Pi 4, I believe. I haven't touched that guy in 4 years now. Runs like a rock. I never worry about it. Yeah.
That's great.
That's pretty sweet.
I bought some those small form factor Dell 3040s. I picked some up off Marketplace, and I was tossing around the idea of just consolidating, because I got one of those 6U racks. I was trying to make stuff look nice. I was like,
yeah,
it works. I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
We'll just let it live on the Pi until something happens. But for right now, we're cooking.
I mean, you can still put it in your rack. You can get those Raspberry Pi rack kits.
Oh yeah.
Are you still upgrading on a regular cadence to keep up with all the
We're current as of what's today, March 15th. So I'm still waiting for the newest round. This month's release hasn't hit me yet, but we're current. Runs fine.
So So you're on 2026. So we're recording in March. So 2026 3,
We're at, yeah, 2026 2 3.
2, 3. Okay. Yeah. So for me, I always run because we do the podcast and we have to talk about the latest features. I'm always on the beta, and I barely upgrade from a beta. But then there's people like yourself that will be like, nope, I'm only going to run like the previous months and get all the little minor hot fixes out, or I'm not going to run the .0. I'm going to wait for a .1 at least.
Hasn't steered
Yeah,
me wrong yet.
that's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
Knock on wood. But
That's cool. So, tell us about your smart home philosophy. Have you, uh, when you started the smart home journey, did you just automate everything, or did you have a certain focus on what you wanted to achieve in your smart home?
I guess because it's gone through different stages, right? So I think I started the whole smart home thing back in, I guess, high school when
Hmm.
which is a really similar story to a lot of the guests you've had on. Everybody starts with Hue light bulbs,
Yeah.
and that just seems to be like the inroad. So back in high school, when Amazon was launching their first smart speakers, right? My parents were like, "We want to do that. That seems cool." I was like, "You don't have to twist my arm. We'll give it a shot." So we got the Hue bulbs, and I was like, "Okay, there's something here. We can play with this." So and then you get kind of you hit the limits of what you can do inside of the Amazon ecosystem, especially back then. So then we kind of branched into IFTTT, if this that, or
Mm,
IFTT. And we started there for a little while, and then you kind of reached the limits of what that could do back then. And then I think out of the gate in college, we started Home Assistant because I wanted to get into there was an aquaponics project for growing stuff like which is pumps and whatnot, and it was gonna Home Assistant was what they leveraged as the controller for it, and all the plants died. That was a complete failure, but we ended up with Home Assistant. So and then it's kind of tricky because there's not really like a goal in mind. It's just like it's a really handy resource for when a problem comes up. I think of it more of like a backbone than like solving individual problems, I guess.
Right. That's cool. So, I mean, did that was it the hydroponics? So you meant just to touch on that a little bit. You
Yeah.
talked about that, like you said, all the plants that had failed, blah blah blah. Was it a fault of the actual hydroponics part, or was it the actual plants and the care and feeding kind of thing?
Oh, it was just a hot Indiana summer, and it was water was in a black bucket because I was trying to do it cheap in
Right.
my parents' yard, and they pretty much boiled alive. It
So
was
you
all on
boiled
me.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't technology's fault. It was user error completely.
That's funny. Okay. But would you ever do that again? Would you go
Oh
back
yeah,
to?
I'm about to. I was telling Phil a second ago. We just finished a greenhouse build here at the in
Oh,
adult life in the adult house.
yeah,
We just
yeah,
finished a
yeah.
greenhouse build that's been going for some years, so it's on. We got some plans for that one. Now that we've gotten a
Nice.
What
little bit better at this automation thing.
What are
That's
your
cool.
plans? Like, I know you we were talking before. You were like,
Yeah.
this is getting into the fun stage. What does fun stage
Oh yeah,
look like for you now?
yeah, because we just finished and a carpenter. I am not. There's not a squared joist and angle to the thing, but it stands up. Especially like the hurricane that we're having now, it's still there, so it counts.
Hey.
Um, so yeah, we're gonna do rainwater capture, and then so part of that because Indiana gets real cold during the winter still, so part of that rainwater capture, I'm also going to then use this thermal mass during the winter. So I need to make sure that doesn't freeze, right? Um, So it's temperature regulation. I want to do solar. I want to get some AI stuff involved for plant health. It's just a lab. It's not really got a goal. It's just
That's
something to have
cool.
fun with.
It's going to be one of those like you're going to get alerts being like, give your lettuce some milk, and like
Yeah,
just one of those
yeah.
random
We're
things
we're
because
all
it's
for it.
like
See what happens.
3% brown, and it's like, all right, here we go.
I like this. Like, you got power out
Yeah,
there.
it's
You've
cool.
got water management. Like, you could easily get
Yeah,
like a camera on there,
Oh
shove it over
yeah.
to LLM Vision.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure there is hacks community integrations for
Yeah.
looking after plants already, like indoors. But
100%.
yeah, like you could have a completely automated garden powered by AI and Home Assistant.
Hmm.
And see what grows, see what it doesn't grow. Right? Maybe
I
even
really, I really taken this what was supposed to be like my analog hobby, right? It's like this is what I do for work, right? And then it's like And then I took my analog hobby and I made it what I do for work. But it's what I enjoy. It's what makes it fun.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. That's funny. So, again, now you've got the greenhouse going on there.
Mhm.
What else? What else are you doing around the house?
Like we were talking beforehand, current new season of life, we have a 6-month-old, not roaming around the house yet, but just in the house. And with that came a lot of changes. And it was interesting the problems I anticipated to have to solve that I didn't. Because I got the advice early on from a boss of mine, and he was like, "You want voice control in the nursery." And like, as a rule, that's my least favorite way of interacting with anything. It's like, don't make me use a voice assistant. I don't want to. Like, it should just the house should react to me, that kind of a thing. We're not there yet because I got to put some money down on presence sensors, but we can get there. But no, I bought you can pick up where I am in around the Fort Wayne area. You can pick up one of those Google Home Minis for like $10, dirt cheap. So I got one of those in the not the safest thing. Like hope to replace it eventually, but game changer. Like you walk in, you got kid in the arms, and can't hit a light switch. It's the way to go.
Yep. Somebody actually made boards out there to replace those Google Home
Did they
Minis
really?
to make it work with Home Assistant, like with the
Voice
HA
PA.
voice.
Oh,
Voice,
really
Yeah,
yeah.
cool.
yeah.
I
So
love the form factor. Like it's a nice little device. But yeah,
and
I'd
it's a
love
good
to not have
for
it
the
go to
price.
Google.
It's a great speaker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you basically retain all of those things, and you rip out the main board, and then
Hmm.
you put this main board in, and it is now essentially a voice Home Assistant voice endpoint. It's I can't remember what it's called. Oh, I think it's ONJU, Onju Voice or something like that, or maybe it's on you. I don't know. Um, but I don't know if it's still an active project or what's happening. I'm just pulling it up on GitHub here. Yeah, I guess not. Last update was 2 years ago, so that's too bad. Um, but there are I don't know, maybe somebody's resurrected it and done something like that. We'll leave a link in the show notes for folks. But that is the last I'd heard of it. Um, I don't know if
Because I know, like, the Amazon Echo, some of the old Amazon Echo shows have now been hacked. Like, wouldn't it be cool to see like them running SenseBin and then the Google Home Mini running SenseBin, and then you've got like multi-room audio across both an Amazon device
Oh
and a
yeah.
Google
Yeah.
device.
Because they had some
Um,
cool form factors back in the day. They had like the really cool, like the tower one, like the original
yep.
one Amazon did, and the little
Yeah.
cube thing that ran the TVs.
yeah,
Yeah, I think they've
yeah,
still
They were
got
on
those. The
Fire
yeah,
Cube.
the
Yeah,
Fire TV Cube. Yeah, this
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
4K. Yeah. I don't think they've been jailbroken yet, though.
Mm.
In time.
In
It's one
time,
of those
yeah.
things I really root for other people to do, knowing that like I will never have the time to do it, and like I can't expect other people to do it if
Absolutely.
I'm not willing to do. But like, please, community, come on, you got
Yeah,
this.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's I definitely don't have the expertise to do it, but I definitely appreciate when other
Yep.
people do. It's one of those kind of things, right? Yeah, I totally agree.
How far have you tried to automate your newborn? Like, did you have light routine scenes set up? Any tracking around the baby?
Not so much tracking because I went down the thought experiment. I was like, I love data for the sake of data, right? It's the engineer in me, but I'm like, okay, there's a point where like I'm just going to drive myself crazy with all of this metric stuff. So we need to pump the brakes a little bit. So we kind of left it at lights, and then I gotta love the smart home journey, right? You change a diaper with your phone flashlight at least 3 or 4 times because you messed up the lights trying to fix something, right? As, um, my big like as things tend to do, right? One project spawns a whole bunch of other ones. So I know I had a one in traditional Midwestern house. We have like the center ceiling light. That's like the floodlight for the room, right? It's just controlled by the old wall switch. And the death of all smart lights, right, is the physical wall switch that cuts power. So I knew I wanted to play with the Govee H621. It's their circular ceiling light, right? Um, and like constant power required, right? Or just constantly is falling off the network. So then I found an Akara switch that works decoupled, so you can just weld the relay shut effectively, and then the buttons just work as just inputs. So I did that. I was like, cool, fixed it. And then I was using the ZHA, just basic Zigbee like add-on at the time, and it didn't expose the entity to do the decoupling for the switch. So then I'm like, okay, now we got to do Zigbee to MQTT, and that was a whole other thing. So down the rabbit hole later, here we are. When I walk in, the lights come on, and then they adjust their color temperature based on the time of day, and we're happy.
You got to love how much you did just to turn on a light, though, right?
Right? Yeah, it's like it's one of those things you got to look back at the end of the day. It's like I have replaced the light switch with a much more complicated light switch.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's
and now
the
there's
love
so
of the
many
game,
more
right?
moving parts. There's
Yeah.
more moving parts, and one of them's going to break, and that switch won't work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Did you look at a custom quirk before moving over to Zigbee to MQTT?
And it was another one of those things like for the love of the game, right? I was like, okay,
Yeah,
new
fair
challenge. Let's migrate everything. Why not? And then,
Like,
and
Good
it's
for
funny
you.
because so MQTT is very much an industrial protocol, right? I'm pretty sure that's around where it got its start, if I'm right. So I try to do a little bit of home labbing and practicing for work, right? So I'm a systems integrator. I'm a systems engineer with a company here in Indiana, and we do a lot of SCADA implementations, which is essentially like Home Assistant but for a factory, right?
yep.
And that's so I'm like, okay, we're gonna play with some MQTT messaging, so I'm prepared when we hit it at work, and it comes up pretty often.
Have you been able to then transfer some of the stuff that you do professionally into the home then?
Oh yeah, so it's kind of some best practices, right? So there's a standard called we looked it up right before we got online, the ISA 95. So it's a standard for how you organize entities within a facility. So you go just high level, it's enterprise, site, area, work center, work unit, get all the way down to the device level, right? And you kind of see that mirrored in Home Assistant. I'm doing a lot of talking with my hands on a podcast. I apologize.
We're on video too. So.
Yeah, that works. So you see it mirrored in Home Assistant, especially with the rollout of organizing into home, floors, rooms, devices, right? So I took the same principles and I moved it over. So all of my devices, I got a label maker. If you're getting into home automation, buy a label maker.
Yeah.
It'll make your little nerd heart happy. Like, do it. So every entity gets a unique name. So like light bulbs or iBulb underscore whatever number I'm on. So that way they can just move throughout the house wherever I need them, and I'm not like renaming things and it's like screwing up all the other automations, and I'm just moving it throughout the layers of the hierarchy instead of just readdressing every single time. Learned that lesson the hard way a couple of times, and I was like, oh, work comes in handy here.
Yeah. Listen, how do you deal with like when you need to know, like let's say you're redoing a dashboard or you're redoing something like that, like do you add labels? Do you like rename the actual, like maybe the entity name is like you said, eyebulb dash whatever, but do you rename that to like Braden's office? Like
Nope.
no, you just leave it there.
I
Interesting.
do put like notes and descriptions if I move something physical, just like a quick like readable, just
Yeah.
for my sake, if I remember to do it, if I'm not like trying to do something fast. Like to set up for tonight, I have light bulbs I took out of the kids' room and like something from somewhere else. There's no pretty
Yeah.
dashboard for that one. I'm like, okay, set color temperature.
Yeah. Interesting.
I like the idea of the label maker. I've recently started using something called Homebox, which is like an inventory management system for
Oh,
the
nice.
house, right? And so it gives you it's basically asset tracking, right? So I can track things like all the smart home stuff, right? Because I can't remember like where I've put sensors or what room's got what flavor of
Yeah.
sensor. And we've all inevitably got the box of gadgets that who knows what's in there, right? After so many
Yep.
years and old stuff, I'm like, okay, what's this model number? When did I get it? Is it in warranty still? Okay, where
Mhm.
does it need to go, right? And yeah, one of the things that it can give you there is like an ID for all your assets, right? So
Yeah.
then you can go, okay, I know I've got this Echo Dot that's 3 years old, and I've put it in this box, which has also got an asset number, and that box lives in the garage.
Yeah.
So like a label maker,
That's beautiful.
and then an inventory system behind it would
Yeah.
be yeah, next
Get you a
level.
QR code on that
Has to
label.
take everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Off to the races. There was a project, it was like GLPI, I think, I set up recently at a church I'm involved in. We use that for asset tracking. It was an open source project. Super handy. So if you're looking for.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna have to look at that one now too. Yeah. Homebox, yeah.
I mean, going back to your automations and stuff like that, even around your kid,
Hmm.
what I mean, Phil and I both have kids, right? And it's we always love to hear and understand what other people are doing from an automation perspective. So that hopefully
Hmm.
I don't know, I can speak for myself. Hopefully I can steal some of these to make my parenting life better. What's what are a couple of your like kid automations that you have, or in the kid's room or something like that?
So for because he's still not hypermobile yet, right? So we're slow rolling him. So I did motion lights the other night. So that was a fun set of conditions because like you don't want to be there were times like when you walk into the room, so say you're like trying to put him down for a nap or something, right? You don't want the lights to come on. But where the wall plate is for the light switch is you can hit that without triggering the motion sensor just because of where furniture is in the room. So I did a latch on one of the buttons on the light switch to where I'm like, okay, when I hit this button and it's dark and it's night and all those kind of things, don't turn on any lights. Just turn if you find them on Amazon, they're the Thread Reality little motion sensors. They just have a PIR little sensor eyeball and then a RGB light on the bottom. So I have one of those that looks out into the room. I turn it like a nice purple just to like so I know what state it's in, and so I remember what the latch is, and then disables the automation that does the lights, and then you walk in and don't wake up the
Nice.
baby that you're trying to put to sleep, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then inversely, it does the different if it's like the day you hit the button again and it latches the lights on, so you're not just like sitting there folding laundry and the lights turn off on you.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting.
And then I guess kind of along the same vein, I've been like thinking about like, okay, I have this smart home backbone going in the house, right? Like, what does his interactions as he grows up, his interactions with the house start to look like, right? I'm like my inner like Imagineer wannabe. I'm like, okay, so what are we gonna have them do? So I've been playing with. I got desk littered with SB32s. Um, Playing with the idea of if I print some like I love a good like chunky tactile interface, right? So if I 3D print up some RFID cards and RFID card readers, I'm like, okay, when we get to colors, I can have big blocks that have the colors on them, and then he set the color on the reader and changes the lights in the room, and then when we get there, if he wants to watch something on the TV and in TV time, right? I have like a card for like Bluey, and you put it on the reader by the TV, and it launches Jellyfin, launches like kicks off the chain of events, right? And then it's kind of gated access to where it's like if it's past bedtime or past allotted TV time, sorry, you're out of luck. Little womp womp noise.
There was there was someone in the community. They used to make. I think they might still do. They used to sell, and I've just got one on my desk here. These
Yeah,
3D
yeah.
printed RFID tag readers.
Hmm.
And I've done the exact same thing that you've done. I think I've spoken about it on the podcast before. But yeah, I've got the car printed for Bluey. I've got all the different cars. I've got a joke one so that my daughter can tap a card and AI will generate a joke at age appropriate level. Um, Ones for the blinds, so she can open and close her blinds. That seemed to work for about a month, and then they just got over it. I
Yeah.
also found with the things like the movies and stuff, that's all fine and good. But these things, I think this one's actually broken because it was under my TV in the living room. But then you get, the 18-month-old that comes out and yanks it
Yep.
from under the TV and then throws it around, and I can hear it rattling like there's loose bits
Oh, gotcha.
inside. Um, or they go tap it, they'll tap to watch Bluey, and it's not instantaneous, right? The TV's got to turn to the right input. It's got to turn on
Yeah.
Plex. Plex is slow, and then Plex finally gets to the chance where it can play, and Home Assistant starts playing. But by the time then, they've lost interest. They're already pre-tapping, pre-tapping, pre-tapping. And no matter how many cooldowns you can add, it doesn't work. So, good luck.
Gotcha.
Hopefully,
we might pivot a
you-
little bit,
yeah. That's
And
been
that's
my
why that reader is broken, because the kids got mad and smashed it.
Yeah.
yes,
Any
exactly.
toy's a hammer if it's close enough.
Yeah, yeah. Now, if you're looking to upgrade your smart home, you can't go past Zeus. Zeus have just released their brand new long-range RGBW dimmer. You can now automate 12 to 24 volt LED strips with full brightness and color control. It's designed to easily install behind your momentary wall switch, or you can pair it with a Z-Wave scene controller for more flexibility. You can use the RGBW dimmer for accent lighting, under cabinets, behind screens, or wherever crazy you can think to put an RGBW light strip. Zeus are also an official Works with Home Assistant partner, helping Nabu by providing long-range devices for testing the Home Assistant Connect ZWA2 radio, so you know you're in friendly hands. Zeus offer a range of affordable and innovative devices, including water leak sensors, water valve controllers, smart plugs, and scene controllers. So, for the best prices on all Zeus products, head over to thesmartesthouse.com. That's thesmartesthouse.com. And thanks to Zeus for sponsoring the podcast.
Yeah, thank you. So going back to your home and what kind of devices are you using, like in terms of protocols and stuff like that? Like I know you talked a little bit about it, but and what do you prefer? Like, so there's Zigbee, Matter, Z-Wave, Thread. Well, Matter over IP or Thread, Bluetooth. What are your preferences? I know, and the reason I just want to give a little bit of context here is because you do this professionally as well. I'd love to know what and why you're looking at those kind of protocols. And I know usually in the professional world, it's usually all wired in and things like that. And I'd love to know if you have some of those too.
I'd love to have some of those, but they're just prohibitively expensive at the moment.
Yeah.
The
Fair.
Allen Bradleys of the world don't come at the same price as Akara sensors is the downside.
Yeah, that's right.
I guess I tip my hat. I love the Akara products. They've done great by me. So early on in the smart home journey, I bought anything and everything I could get my hands on, right? I think I found a Wemo before they went under. I think I found a Wemo switch in like a Goodwill like thrift bin because somebody thought it was just a light switch, and I got it for like $2. And I think I finally decommissioned it like a couple months ago because I think it was installed in the house for like a year after the company had gone under, and I think they went under. Their servers went offline, and I was just like, this is just a light switch that just has this indicator light that's just mad all the time. So I was trying to do anything and everything I could get my hands on, and then of course your router gets filled up, your airspace gets way crowded. Then I'm like, okay, something's got to give. And then I'd like to say it was due to like super due diligent research, but then I was like, there's one day when I looked up, I was like, best sensors that work with Home Assistant, right? And it was talking about Zigbee stuff, and I jumped on the Zigbee bandwagon, and I've not looked back. It's just like I said, we do this professionally, so I'm so used to like chasing down IPs and then the little dial switches on all of the devices, and you have to set subnets, and it's a whole other thing. I love the ease of connection of Zigbee devices. It's like hold down the little button, wait till it blinks, golden.
Yeah.
So that's been the current slow roll of we're getting away from all of the Wi-Fi devices and we're moving to Zigbee. But they got to break first. Yeah, that's kind of the problem.
Yeah.
They're holding out.
and don't worry, they will.
Oh yeah.
Take that message how you want, but they will break.
But no, I love the little Akara things. I have 2 on our cat litter boxes we bought on Facebook Marketplace. Is a great place for all home automation projects to start. We bought some cheap litter robot knockoffs, right? So it's this big drum that spins to clean the litter and stuff. And when you're going through the documentation, they're like, to install the app that works with the litter box, sideload this app from that you download from online, and then install this like third-party app store. I'm like, or not.
Yeah,
We're just
that's
gonna
not sketchy at all. Yeah.
You're just gonna live in the corner in the kind of a lead box, and you're not gonna touch anything.
Yeah.
So I took one of the Akara vibration sensors, and every time the drum rotates, I have a cooldown on it, so I count drum rotations, so I know approximately when they get full, right? And that's good enough for a cat litter box, right? It's not got to be super precise. I was real happy with that one when we got it going. I was like, "Hey guys, look at my graph of how many times the cats used the litter box today." Nobody was super excited about it, but I thought it was a
I'm
killer app.
wondering, what other features of the app like are you missing out on? Like you've got like what would be the purpose of installing that app? If you're going to all that effort to sideload an app, what are you getting out of it?
Nothing. I think you could like manually cycle the thing. I think that was
Okay.
about it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, not missing much.
That's a lot of risk just to clean some cat poop
Yeah,
or
like
separate some cat poop.
risk versus reward. Not there.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
Although I'm about, just because the sensors in the things themselves are just about shot. Like you get what you pay for kind of a thing. So I looked up ESPHome has a support for a stepper driver, and probably next winter when I'm stuck in the house and bored, we're probably gonna do that.
Yeah, rip it open and
Hmm.
change it. Yeah.
Yeah, because we were talking before we were recording, and one of the things you got is you don't like letting things die, right? That you'd
Oh
rather
no.
go in and attempt to fix it, which I think Home Assistant like that aligns perfectly with the ethos, right? Like sustainable
Mhm.
and reliability and all that, right? Can you tell me about your ice maker? Like
That was a saga. Okay. So our ice maker, when we moved into the house, our realtor was like, "Now the ice maker on the fridge doesn't work. Are you sure you still want the house?" I was like, "First of all, why is that a make or break criteria for purchasing
That's a
a house?
great,
Like
yeah.
that's the least. Like I grew up with ice trays. Like this is fine."
Yeah.
Um, so it turns out there's a manufacturing defect in the Whirlpool refrigerator that we have, that the thermocouple after a while just its acceptable temperature range for which it closes just goes way out of spec after a while. And I only found this out after replacing it with 3 different units. Um, yeah, so I was rather fed up with it at that point. So what I did was Zigbee and ESPHome. Those are my go-tos, right? So I took a cheap SP32. I put old mechanical relay on it and a thermocouple. And literally, if you look on top of my refrigerator, because I keep telling myself I'm going to print a box to put it in, and that's been 3 years now. There's an SP32 with
You're not
four
really.
wires that run into my freezer, and that's what I just wait for it to trip the threshold. And then there was contacts in the ice maker that were exposed if you shoved the end of a wire in and hot glued it, so it made contact, and then you could jump the mechanism, and it would start the cycle.
That's
So I
amazing.
am engineer. Hear me roar! Like I was not gonna be beat by this ice maker, but
Yeah.
we got ice 3 years later.
That's awesome. It's funny because at the end of this, at the start of this, you started with, I grew up with ice cube trays,
Yeah,
but then it's like the relentless pursuit of
I
like
wasn't gonna
getting
let
this.
it beat me by Fender. Like this is my house.
Yeah. It's fascinating that also
So great.
the fridge comes with the house. Like, is it built
Really?
into the
Yeah,
house? Like,
yeah. Is that not a thing for you?
no, you buy your own fridge in a house, and you get the
I mean,
capital to
I mean,
put
it,
the
it can
fridge in.
go either way. Like if
Yeah,
the owners want to take it with them, they can. But most of the time,
Right.
it's just baked into the price.
I think the norm is you get the appliances that come with the house.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, no, you bring your own fridge. Bring your own microwave too. Like, you guys get microwaves like with a house too?
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
stoves, microwaves, fridge,
I mean,
dishwasher.
stoves built in. You can't physically take like turn the
Oh, you
house
sure?
upside
I'd
down,
say
but
that about the dishwasher and the refrigerator. It's
Yeah.
close to about the same amount of work to move one
You-
as it is the other.
I
the
mean, you
dishwasher,
get.
dishwasher is part of the house, absolutely. But
Yeah.
like,
I mean, we're going on a super
we
tangent here, but
are.
you get the fridges and dishwashers and stuff that can have the cabinet face glued on it, right? I forget what it's called, but
Yeah.
so it's all flush and
Yeah,
well
like it looks
mounted
super
and
fancy.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
can understand. If it's built in that way, fair enough. But yeah, if it's just a a knock, like it's just an area in the kitchen for a fridge to go into. I don't know.
I think again, it's like Braden said, you don't
Yeah,
have to sell the house with it,
but
but
most
yeah,
people do.
I think it's assumed that you do, and you kind of say when you're not.
Yeah. And
This
then
is
you get
like,
like a couple thousand off the listing price if they take it with them.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, this is like how much water is in North American toilets, right? Like it's just one of those things. I'm like, really? Like that's a weird thing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, we digress. This is Home Automation
Yeah.
podcast.
Now I'm curious about the water thing. I don't know if I know this. Oh, is
You
it
can't,
that North American toilets use a lot of water?
well,
Oh,
you
I'm
have
sure.
like a bunch of water
Yeah,
sitting in the bottom of the
yeah,
toilet
yeah, yeah,
All the
yeah,
time.
all the time.
yeah.
What is that? What is that? Anyway,
I think it's to
uh,
prevent sewer gases, but yeah,
It's
I don't know
yeah.
why you need that much, but yes.
yes, yeah.
I think it's one of those
Sorry.
design standards we just haven't changed yet. I think California is really trying, but here in the Midwest, it's it's not hit us yet.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, we're getting back to Home Assistant.
I don't even remember where we
Wait, what
are.
are we talking about?
We're talking about the ice maker, and then
Oh yeah, got it,
yeah, we
got
got
it licked, but it was a
yeah,
hard fought battle.
That's
yeah.
funny.
Now,
But I think
the
that
other
was my first. Sorry, go ahead.
no, no,
That was my first foray into ESPHome, and that's kind of like kicked off a love affair with how easy that is to integrate. We had an issue. We were heading out of town. I had to go see my family. It's quite a drive south, right? We about like got halfway through with the 4 hour trip, and I got a message that said our power went out, and I was like, no, the power wasn't out. It was the circuit in the garage had tripped. And I was like, oh, our deep freeze out. That's an issue, right? And then we were gonna have some friends over, and what was gonna have to happen is I was gonna have to send their like 12-year-old through a window in the garage that I thought probably wasn't locked, so they could like get in, open the garage door, so their dad could like reset the breaker. So when we got back from the trip, I was like, okay, this situation can't happen again. And like to make my like inner nerd child proud, I turned around like a proof of concept and like device that's still out there in like 2 hours because I had an ESPHome mechanical relay, and the thing that took the longest was 3D printing the housing because I learned from Ice Maker Escapade if you don't do it when you make it, you're not going to do it. So
you do it. Yeah,
so yeah, SP32 garage door opener existed within 2 hours of getting back from the trip, and I was like, we've arrived, we've made it. This is
so what does
peak.
that do? Does that just like short the relay to
Yeah,
then
it's
trigger the
just
open? Yep.
the button that's on the wall. I think
Yeah.
it has some encoding to it, but essentially all it does is just dry contact closes the relay. So I jumped it with 2 wires and off to the races.
That's awesome. And that's still in production. So is that on your neighbor's house or your house?
My house.
Nice.
What else? I want to know what else you're doing with, because it sounds like you're doing a bunch of stuff with the SP Home. Are you doing more like custom, or do you have any planned that you want to
The NFC readers that we were talking about for the baby's room, that's all ESPHome driven. We're going to do all of the greenhouse monitoring eventually when we get there, is going to be all ESPHome driven because I've looked at like more like the industrial side of things to try to bring it home a little bit, but you still can't get close to a good PLC with just like enough IO to matter for like under $300. And like I think I picked up a pack of 3 of these guys for like 20, right? Like the barrier to entry is just so much different. Um, yeah, and you just get one of those expansion breakout boards.
Why would you go ESP for the greenhouse? Like I know we talked about before, you want to get off as much Wi-Fi as possible. Would you pivot to something like Zigbee battery sensors, like that can be wireless out there?
Just for the sake of um, sometimes you like to make it like intentionally a little harder on yourself. Like I'm okay
Yeah,
with like the
I get
one
that.
Wi-Fi connection going out, just because how fast you can turn stuff around. Like I have just occupational hazard. I have a cabinet full of um, just analog sensors, and they're
Yep.
just so easy to plug and play on an SP32 if you get your voltages right out of the gate. So just so fast, rapid prototyping is kind of the only reason.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
That
I
makes sense.
yeah, it makes total sense.
Would you have like a single like massive breakout that goes to all of your stuff, or would you do like individual ESPs, kind of break up those domains of like failure?
Hmm. I would like to have separate ones, but in reality, it's probably going to end up being one single one that's going to kind of grow into like something that doesn't look too pretty at the end
Like
of
an
the day.
octopus. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
but
Yeah.
this is north, this is south, this is
yeah, but
yeah.
like we'll refactor it a couple years and we'll cut it apart into different ones. But
That's cool.
trying to think, and then for the Zigbee stuff, I found some DIN mounted breakers. Essentially, they're relays, but they fit the form factor of a standard single pole breaker. So those are running the pool, and it's high enough amperage that they handle the pump fine. I love those little guys as far as devices go. So I try to stick to like Zigbee and ESPHome. Those are my two main ones now that I've started phasing off. There's a lot more space on the Wi-Fi now since I've phased stuff out.
Sure. Sure.
Oh, and then for ESPHome stuff, there was a when we got married, I put on the registry one of those Empora View power monitors. It's like the single box to like 16 channels of just those current readers that go across your mains. Um, and then it worked well enough. I wasn't happy with the resolution of the data. And then after a while, I think it fell behind updates and I just couldn't be bothered with it. Um, and then I found online that somebody had rewritten the firmware so it would work with ESPHome. And I was like, oh, buddy, here we go. And so we got that loaded on there. And then I use that to drive all of the power statistics for the house. So like how much does it cost to run the pool? How much does it cost to run the heaters in the doghouse or the greenhouse and that kind of stuff. We don't need to like show a picture of what it looks like because it's just like this mess of wires hanging out of my panel box, but
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
no
But that's
code
all right.
enforcement here. It's okay.
That's funny. But I mean, that's cool. Are you doing anything with that data and then or plan to or
I look at it and feel bad about it every so often.
yeah.
there's
That's valid.
like, oh, we should try to use less. That's kind of where it goes. Um,
Yeah.
it's handy for like so this week, right? I set up a heater in the greenhouse just to try to like see what my thermal mass is like to see how because our temperatures dipped back down into freezing here. I was like, what does it cost me to try to heat this thing at a reasonable degree? And I was getting up into like $4 or $5 a night, and I was like, nope, we got to rethink this. This isn't gonna work. So it's all turned off right now. And I was like, well, we'll get back to it.
Yeah. Well, again, at least it's nice that it's you can make decisions based on that, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
that's so
and it
you're still
helps find, I guess, a lot of like vampirism powers, like stuff that like we've
Mm.
left on by accident or stuff like that, or like I've tried to do the dryer done notification because there's a giant spike when that heating coil pulls in, right? That we have a higher efficiency dryer, so it kicks off the heating element long before it's done spinning, so you'd get the done notification well before it was actually done running. So we kind of gave up on that one. But no, it's handy for stuff like that, like especially for power outages or breaker trips. That's the one I've used it for mostly. So if like the deep freeze, the culprit of most of them, because if we have a plug-in hybrid, little Ford Fusion, and they can't be on the same circuit at the same time. But sometimes we forget and plug it in, and then when that charger kicks in, it just kills the breaker. So then I get an alert that says, "Hey, all your food's going to go bad. Go check the breaker."
Yeah, all right. That's actually saves you money, right? Like saving
Oh yeah,
food. Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder, is
That's
there a
cool.
way you could automate like preventing that from happening? Like,
I've kicked it around a couple times because if you could do like, the problem is I don't get state of charge back from the cars.
right.
So I really just have like I'd have to set like a queuing system of like, okay, I can have two cars plugged in and the deep freeze. The deep freeze has to stay on, but I can only support like one car and maybe like my drill batteries when they get plugged in. So I'd have to have sockets everywhere and just be like, okay, this finished its charge cycle due to according to its power draw. Move on to the next one. Move on to the next one, kind of a thing.
Or you can't even do like a okay, charge cars like you added 25%, stop the charge, then run the fridge or the freezer for a little bit, so at least you keeping the temperature up, right? And then go over.
I could. It's one of those ones. It's like there's a couple automations that I'm scared to do. Like in the office room I'm in right now, we have a gas fireplace. I'm like, it would be so cool. Like snap your fingers, fireplace comes on, like the party trick of it all, right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
professionally, I've seen gas valves get stuck too often to trust that one quite yet without any kind of feedback to it. Because it's just the light switch is what turns on.
Yeah. It's a low voltage, right? And you got to wire. I was actually looking at mine, like yesterday or day before, and same thing, right? Where I'm like, I want to do that, and I was going to use like just a Shelly relay to do that, and just tap into where the wires go in, where the switch wire goes in, and but it's that same thing, right? Where it's like, how safe is this?
Yeah, it's like I don't have anything that feeds back to say like confirmed ignition. I was like, oh, this could get dicey, so we'll leave this one alone.
Yeah, yeah.
I
That's
think
cool. So,
other. Sorry, go ahead.
what's the plans for the rest of like the future plans? Like, have you got any ticking plans that you're like, okay, my son's turned this age, or I want to get this done before Christmas? What's next up on the list?
We're in a big home labbing phase. Is kind of the current state of the house. So like the automation and home assistant era stuff is kind of it's set. We went back the start of the year, I think. We went I started actually paying the subscription to Nabu for the offsite access. Haven't looked back. Wonderful. Highly recommend. Do it. It's worth it. Because I was doing the port forwarding on your router, super insecure. I worked with enough cyber guys, and they're like, "Don't do that." I'm like, "But it's so handy. It's not that bad." No, it's bad. um, so yeah, the home's kind of reached a good equilibrium for a minute. So we got to beef up our hardware. So we're making the jump to trying to roll out a lot of Unify equipment just because it's fun to play with, and we're using it at a couple other sites I'm involved with. So it's nice to be able to practice at home. And then so we're gonna with that we'll roll in the camera feeds, which I'm really excited to get. A lot you guys have talked a lot about AI and image processing recently, and I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. I want to get there. We got to get the infrastructure in place first.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's you grow it, right? One thing at a time, and then you break it 100 times, and then you keep learning, and that's the home lab experience, right? And but
So I recently cut over to the ZBT2, the new big antenna that
Yeah.
the
yeah,
Nabu released. Love that thing. It's been great. Onboarding process, super easy, and then
yeah,
everything just kind of took right off. I was
yeah,
like, wow, that's not a story you hear very often.
I have been very impressed with it. Like, I've had a lot of, I still do like randomly get ZB issues. Like my Acquire FP1 sensors will just go, right? Like off the network for whatever reason. They'll be gone for a week or so. But I don't think that's a ZBT2 issue. I think that's just a Zigbee issue, right? But before upgrading, I did have a lot of devices just randomly needing to be repaired for whatever reason. Like they'd be on the network, they would report their status back to Home Assistant. Like I have blinds that would open, like are on Zigbee. I could control them with the RF remote. Like I could close them, and they would report back to Home Assistant closed. I try and control them with Home Assistant. Nothing. It was like they just didn't exist. With the ZBT2, no issues. So yeah, it is a fantastic little unit.
Oh yeah, because I ran into an issue of I bought one of those nice little like 6U expansion racks that they have. You can get them on again Facebook Marketplace, great place for home automation projects. Picked up one of those, and then I was using one of those little Conbi USB dongles into my Raspberry Pi that I then stuck inside of a metal cage, and I was like, where are all my Zigbee devices going all the time? So I was like, oh no, gotta upgrade to one of these new fancy antennas. I just have to.
You have to,
So it was
yeah.
oh
worth it.
yeah.
It's a really
Any
nice
reason
piece of hardware.
it is. Yeah, it's funny. Like we again sometimes we get to play with these before release and whatever, right? Like the ZWA, the ZBT, whatever, and both of them I gotta say have been, at least for me, have been rock solid. Same thing, right? And it's I mean, I got my ZWA 2 right here, right behind me, or ZWA 1. Oh, God, I'm not good with numbers. The Z-Wave one. And I've got it right behind me. And again, same thing. It works well. It works remotely. And now you can actually do, because it's ESP32 based, you can actually leverage that as a Bluetooth proxy.
Oh, that's something I've been wanting to get into a lot. I just haven't had like the killer app to like justify it yet, but that might be one of the projects that gets bumped up the list because it sounds fun.
It's good. It's pretty, it works really well. I mean, it powers my 3 blinds here now because I just hated having more stuff on my desk. And I was like, all right, it's there anyways, right? So it's nice and easy. But the Zigbee one's awesome too. Totally agree. Same thing. It sits on top of my rack instead of in it.
Yeah. Ended up
same problem.
I 3D printed a little shelf and it like has a USB extension cord like halfway across the room on the ceiling. I was like, okay, you're far enough away. I'll be fine.
Yeah. That's good.
But yeah, they're onward and upward. Whatever. I was playing with local AI and I have like the bare minimum hardware to run any type of local model, right? But like there was probably like 5 months ago when I was on paternity leave, and everyone's like, "Oh, you're not gonna have like any time. You're gonna be taking care of the baby 24/7." Babies sleep the first like 3 weeks of their lives. Like it's all he's doing.
And you don't, so it's great.
Yeah, I was like, no, we've been super lucky. He slept through the night like a rock. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
We super blessed.
That's great.
But no, so that was my paternity leave project. I was like, we're going to set up some local AI and see what we can do. And at the time, it was very much a solution looking for a problem. I was like, okay, I can make it say some funny voice things, but we don't really need that right now. Like when I want the lights to turn on, I just want them to turn on. I don't want them to tell me about them turning on, right? But now we're really getting into, especially once I get more cameras involved, I'm really looking towards the image processing and stuff like that. That it's going to be a lot more of a killer app, and to run it local is just fun.
Yeah, I think you're going to need a bit of hardware to do image processing.
I know. Yeah.
And also the convenience factor of just like giving LLM Vision a key and then it's handled. Like you don't have to worry about, like is a container running or is that model good enough, right? Like the key just handles it.
Oh yeah, right now it's my desktop that has to have its Docker containers online and running, and it's like, of course, this obnoxious like RGB glowing thing that like is illuminating the room at night because I can't turn it off now because it's hosting the Docker containers.
Yeah,
but
that's how it always ends up working, right? It's just it's just you gotta, I don't know. Eventually you'll move it off or find a service or something like that, right?
But yeah, Mac Mini prices have gone through the roof as of when we're talking about it. RAM apocalypse, but
yeah. Well, and
nice.
couple that with everybody doing OpenClaw, right? And,
oh yeah.
So that's a match made in heaven for raising prices. So
I was listening to your guys' episode about agents 2 days ago, I think, while I was at work.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, I want to do this so bad. So did you actually land on like the killer app for it? Like I think you were talking about was it Mealy? Or no, it wasn't Mealy. You were using an agent as a meal planner. How'd that
Yeah, I still haven't spoken to him. Curtis is still there, and I haven't talked to Curtis. But I do have Jarvis on there. But once again, it's too slow, right? Like by the time I said, just turn off the office downlights. It has to go out and go, okay, the human wants me to turn off the office downlights. I need to go and check what lights are on the system to find. Whereas I could just open up my app on the companion app on my phone and turn the downlights off faster, as opposed to writing a message on Telegram to Jarvis to turn them off.
Isn't that the point of all this, though? How complicated can we make a light switch? Is it that the ethos of it all?
I'm okay for complicated, but I want it to be snappy, right? Like I was complaining before about my kids taking too long with the RFID cards. Like that's how I am with this this assistance, right? Like I don't care. Like I don't have time for you to work out what I've just told you to do. Just give me the answer then and there. And in some ways, I feel as though we've taken a back step. Like you could just Google a problem and Google would have like
Yeah.
in the first one or two results there would be the answer. Right now we get these really verbose AI generated answers of our questions in either Google or ChatGPT or Claude. It's like just tell me yes or no. That's all I essentially want to know.
Yeah.
Just get to the crux of it. Don't give me the fluff. So yeah, I'm still using OpenClaw daily for other parts of my life. I try and segregate things into agents where I
Hmm.
can. But yeah, for the most part, it's yeah, I still get frustrated. It's still like randomly will lose its memory, right? Like I will
Yeah.
have it access into a system and I'll come back to it the next day. I'll ask it a question and he'll be like, well, if you want me to answer that for you, you'll need to give me API access. I'm like, you idiot, you've already got API access. Look in your environment variables, it's there. Oh, you're
Yep.
right, but I'll need to create a new script to access that. I'm like, how did you do it yesterday? Like, seriously. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I could have just opened up the app and looked at the answer myself.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's your guys' philosophy when it comes to dashboards and things? Like I said, I like the house to react to me. I try to use the dashboards as like just like information metrics, right? I try to leave control like as environmental as I can. Do you guys like go real hard on your dashboards, or do you kind of leave? Mine are pretty, for as long as I've been running Home Assistant now, they're pretty lame. I'm not gonna lie. They're just big chunky buttons. They're not doing much.
Mine's not. I mean, I'd say mine's pretty, but it's just a default like uh, layout, right? So it's like I don't know. I use the mushroom cards for it just because I
Hmm.
like the way it displays, and you can have like a bunch of information within one tile.
Hmm.
But other than that, no. It's like I've got outside of my phone or like our phones, my phone, and my wife's phone.
Hmm.
Uh, we've got one tablet in the kitchen, and really that's it, right? So it's not, and that tablet only shows kind of because to me it's like just from a security perspective, I'm just like it's an open device, it's an open space. That dashboard's only got a couple of things in it, right? Like a few things. Like it's got our like grocery list, it's got our like calendar, like the family calendar, and it's got like a couple of lights that are like the kitchen, the living room, and like the breakfast nook area, which is where that is, right? And really, that's the crux of it. And it's got our doorbell camera in case somebody's there, right? And then we have the ability to lock the door. So, but keep it simple.
For me, I try to avoid, like, I'm the only one that's looking at the dashboard, to be honest. Like, I'm trying to automate the house as much that you don't need to override the house. So if you walk into a room, the lights turn on, right? And you're in the room, the lights generally don't turn off, right? We're using millimeter wave, or they're in traffic areas where the PIRs are okay. Um, with that said, my wife does prefer things like she might need at nighttime. I like the lights lower, so it's not as bright. But there'll be times where she needs more light, so then she'll yell out to a voice assistant, turn up the brightness of the light. Then that's where it becomes. I think you need a bit of smarts around how you trigger your automations. So, for example, if you've just overridden uh, the house turning the lights down to a certain level, you don't want someone to override that with a voice command and then the house to just put them back down again.
Hmm.
Like by make a time trigger. Like you don't want to trigger every 5 minutes. You don't want maybe they've just left the room, come back. You need to have a little bit of smarts around it.
Hmm.
I haven't necessarily solved that. There is a whole different, a whole bunch of triggers that I could optimize for that. But yeah, generally, it's the house should just be working in the background. You walk into a room, the lights turn on. You walk out of a room, they turn off. Um, Heating and cooling, I have like to think I've automated. Once again, it comes down to personal preferences, right? I think
Yeah.
that's the only other thing my wife is going into the app for is to turn on the heater or turn off the
Hmm.
AC, um,
Right.
which she's got also got the app for the AC that she can go directly to,
Hmm.
right? She doesn't need to go into Home Assistant to do it. So yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think my wife's only interaction with the Home Assistant app in and of itself is the um to reset the litter boxes. It always comes back to that for some reason. Can't get away from them. And then with the garage door, since we were able to use SB Home to drive it, I do a when we pull into our driveway, we get because both of the cars have Android Auto, and we 98% of the time have a phone plugged into it, so it's running, right? So when we pull into the driveway, we get a hey, do you want to open the garage door? And,
Yep.
Nice.
and that's worked like a charm. That's been one of the good ones.
And is that just using GPS or is it using like camera license plate recognition? How do you
Yeah,
how do
just
you know you're on the
the
driveway?
map entity that comes
Yep.
built in.
Yep.
There's probably like when we're pulling in, there's like a 30 seconds of like, will it trigger like before we get into the driveway, or will it trigger
Yeah.
like when we're stopped in front of the door? But there's not been longer than like a 5 second annoyance of like, okay, the car is stopped and I'm waiting for to be able to open my garage door. It's not been enough of a
Yeah.
problem to be worth fixing yet, but
Sure.
we might get there.
Sure.
But we'll see.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Well, Braden, thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate
Yeah,
it. We've got a few links that we'll leave in the show notes as well from the stuff we've talked about today. Thank you.
thank you guys for having me. It's been a blast.
Cheers.
Of course. Cheers.